There are people in my life who don't really think it's such a great idea for me to be making these videos and to be putting them out in the world in such a public way. They even think it could be risky. And I certainly understand this. It's taken me a long time to get to the point where I felt like I was ready and had my feet under me enough and like it was really time. And what it came down to was pretty simple, which is that given that where I got into trouble was by losing the truth, that it was important to find my way back through telling the truth, even where it's painful, even where I feel ashamed of things that happened, even where I feel deeply sorry for what happened, but that it's important to speak the truth, whatever it is, to the best of my ability. And I guess at this point, if it's been risky for me to talk about what I've talked about until here, maybe what's next will be even more risky. I don't know. Because I came to a place where, well, let me do it this way. One Friday night, about 6 months after I got out of prison, maybe 6 months, 9 months, something like that, I sat down. It was after work, and I had showered and eaten, and I sat down in a chair, not even my own chair, but a chair in a room I was renting, a comfortable chair, and I was going to meditate. And something inside me just rebelled and said, no, no, we're not going to meditate now. We're not going to do it. It's Friday night, you're home from prison, it's time to get out. It's time to be in the world. It's time to move beyond self-reflection and atonement and keeping your head down. It's time to live. And I was actually quite startled by this because it was like this whole other part of me, and it was just no, we're not going to do this any longer. And I realized it was right, because here I was getting crushes on women I saw on TV, or very unlikely um, matches. And I just realized I wasn't being honest with myself. Yes, it was important for me to keep my head down. Yes, it was important for me to find my feet. Yes, it was important for me to apologize and ask for people's forgiveness and even earn people's forgiveness. But it suddenly was really clear to me that I needed to come to terms with whether I was going to forgive myself and to what degree, and whether I was going to let myself not only just come out of prison, but to actually live. And so that's kind of what I want to talk about next. And so let me say here, if you are one of the people, if this is the first clip you're seeing, and if you are one of the people who needs to hear me apologize and needs to see that I feel deeply sorry for what I've done to you and to our community, then I invite you to look back over the previous clips. And what I want to do now is to begin to move on and to acknowledge what happened that night. And it's an ongoing question for me is, okay, I'm out of prison. Though it's not really my way of thinking about things, the courts talk about paying your debt to society. And I had served my time in prison. I still owe people money, and it's very likely that I'll owe people money for the rest of my life. But was I willing Was I ready to let myself live? Was I willing, was I ready to admit that I really want to love someone? Was I willing to open myself? Had I forgiven myself enough to see whether there would actually be someone who would want to love me? So this part of me rebelled and said, no, there are other things in life. There are other things to explore. There are other parts of you that you need to express and admit and allow into your life. So welcome to this next stage, ex-con on a dating site. If you're enjoying these, or even if you're not enjoying these, if you're watching and if you're willing to subscribe, that helps. If you want to make comments, either if you like them or if you don't like them, that also helps. So I'll be back soon. Thank you so much for following this. More soon.